Hey, what's up, YouTube? So today, we are counting down our top 10 albums of 2024. I know this is old news and shit. It's 2025 now, but like, we gotta get this done. So for this video, I'm once again joined by Sasha, and who joined me for last year's video of this same nature, and also co-stars in some of my other most best videos. Indeed. And we are also joined by a new guest, Album of the Year reviewer Felix, my friend right here. Hello. So without further ado, let's just do this shit.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Okay.
So I'm going to start from my number 10 spot, which is Quadeca's Scrapyard. So I first found out about Quadeca when I saw him on Hive Mind. That's how I found I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. But I found out that Scrapyard was released while I was practicing jazz music with my band, and I said, I need to go to the bathroom, and I left school. And I went to
undisclosed location.
And I cried. And
undisclosed location. What
and
song did you cry to? Was it
my favorite song, actually, Dust Cutter. Dust Cutter.
You cried to the first song?
Dust Cutter made me cry.
That's crazy.
Dust Cutter is also, Dust Cutter is my favorite song. I love the production. Honorable mention for a favorite song is Easier. But yeah, that is my number 10. I love it. Shout out Quad. Quad did. Quanko was off the henny for this one.
Alrighty then. At my number 10 for 2024, all of the albums ever in this year, I put Band of Stone and the New World by Childish Gambino. So this album was actually very off on for me because I really liked it and I glazed it a little bit when it first came out because of like just first come out like glaze or whatever. And then I really didn't like it because I really didn't like a lot of the features on it. And then I listened to it more and I got like used to the features, I guess. And I realized that just because they're like different doesn't actually mean they're like bad. Like some of them are still not my favorite because they're like a little bit insane. But this album is actually very, very interesting because it is Childish Gambino's last album under the name Childish Gambino. For those who don't know, Childish Gambino is actually Donald Glover. I had a lot of like favorite songs on this because it has a lot of like different vibes. Like I really liked Yoshinara or whatever. I said that wrong. I really liked Lithonia. But my number one song from that album is Steps Beach. Steps Beach I listened to like really close to when the album came out while camping on this beautiful lake. And it's like genuinely a beautiful song. And the instrumental is like simple. It's like a acoustic guitar and it's just like singing. But it's like beautiful and it like brought me to the verge of tears when I first listened to it because it was like overwhelming my like aesthetic senses.
Alright, my highly anticipated, because a lot of people have been asking for this video ever since they wanted to know, is Vultures 2 going to be on my list? Yes or no? Those are the two options. No, it's not on my list. But this is shit that make rap niggas mad. So I think this album's very interesting because it is the comeback Kanye album. He said some terrible things and then he was gone for like a year or something, and then he slowly started popping back up, and then if you're following this rollout, you get just chaos and like these weird, crazy OnlyFans model, manager, merch people. Like, it's just weird doing pyramid schemes. Shout out Yes Jules.
I will say, I was also like in this rollout, not like as a person and obviously, but like I was caught up with all of it.
S-tier rollout.
It was pretty interesting being part of a Kanye rollout, I will say.
The Back to Me leaks is such a cool
like moment.
Running back to me.
before we even knew what Vultures was, he just played Problematic in like Ireland or something. There was like a 5-second low quality clip. Then you get to slowly evolve into Back to Me and then all these snippets, and like you get to really with the listening party, with the raves. Everybody's not very good, but the snippet is awesome. Genuinely, like the hype around this in December, me and Sasha, like we stayed up for the first Vultures rave.
6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Negative time.
To hear New Body perform for the first time.
That was awesome. That was an amazing moment. I
Genuinely,
will say.
like personally to me,
New Body performed for the first time was generational.
Like this was so crazy, and you get these bait and like, oh, album coming 12/15, nah, just kidding. Album coming January, nah, just kidding.
It's like if Cardi actually dropped.
Yeah, because Cardi does it. Cardi go too far. Cardi go too far. But it is genuinely a weird, like, it's a fun club album, and it also works as this weird, like it's called Vultures for a reason. It is a desolate desert, but there's this special little glow in the songs. Like, it feels like it's a desert, but there's like some sort of energy throughout it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that it's just the most fun first listen I've had in so long to an album. It's so replayable. To me, this was a build-up and a payoff with this rollout in my experience, and also Carnival got me 1 million views and 1,000 subscribers. Vultures 1 to me is such a special album, and like just imagining that time, like the hype of February 9th, the night of February 9th. He said he was gonna drop it on February 9th, it didn't drop on February 9th. The night of, it drops at like 3 a.m. on February 10th, and it's just crazy.
I was at the beach.
I remember that.
Oh my goodness. I was at the beach, and I was with my family, and I woke up at like 6 or whatever, and I had like an Instagram notification on like Rap or whatever that it dropped, and I was like still waking up, and I thought it was like a dream or something, and I opened it, and I freaked out, and the house I was at had a little like crow's nest, and I went up to the top of it, and I looked at like the waves coming in while sitting on the couch listening to Vultures.
We're gonna cut that out probably.
Yeah.
I also don't want to tell them that we're Pacific Islander.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't want to dox myself.
No doxing.
Okay, my number 9 spot goes to the heaviest album of the year, Knocked Loose. You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say David Buns. Heaviest. Get it, chat?
Yeah, I got it. But Knocked Loose's album was one of the craziest experiences I've had listening to an album all year for sure. And I know I said this for the last album, but in 2024, my peak listening to music and like catching up on albums was in school. So I like distinctly remember a lot of these, and I had just like bombed a algebra exam. And I was like,
I thought you were gonna say.
No. I was really upset when I got it back, and I saw this on Album of the Year, and I was like, oh, it's metal? I gotta listen to metal! And I put it on, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then this guy sitting next to me was like, what the I can hear this through your headphones, what the hell are you listening to? And I was like, it's music. This album is so fucking good, and I can appreciate something like this as much as I can because of how into the play, because I play drums, and I just know the type of instruments and the skill it like fully takes to do as much as they're doing, and it's so impressive. And more so than that, it just sounds awesome. It's so much fun to listen to. It's super short. It's only like 20 minutes, 22 minutes, I think. And so I've listened to it like like 7 times in full just because I loved it so much. My favorite song off of it is Suffocate with Poppy. I love Poppy so much. She had my song of the year last year, or one of them, with Spit. And she's super talented. And Octua. And she just really knows what she's doing in the industrial metal scene as of now. So it's so nice to see her collaborate with these guys. And the song just sounds wonderful. And her vocals are so good. And the fucking bass. Oh my god, the bass on this album. The bass on this album is so good. It's like insane and it's super fast and everything. I love this album. I didn't think I would like it, and I ended up losing my mind and loving it so much. It was fantastic.
Okay. Guess what, chat? Guess what? At number 9, we have possibly one of the most influential albums of the year, and that's Brat.
Drop down, yeah. The camera flash on.
Now, this album musically isn't at my top 10, but I feel like the impact this album had on like the world is like crazy. Like Brat Summer is like, that's like generational. It was like a culture phenomenon, kind of, I'd say. And also the music's really good. I do enjoy the album a whole lot. I feel like it's very poppy, but it's very pop in not the same way that like pop is pop. It's like it's like a little bit insano and it's very Brat. It's not demure. My favorite song off of this album is 360, which is a little basic, but I also really like it because it's like 360. When you're in the mirror, do you like what you see? I'm in the mirror, I'm so Julia. And
I missed that on it.
It kind of makes me want to like go run around in circles. It gives me a whole lot of energy, and I like that. And it's very Brat.
Just want to say this. People who don't like Brat are the people who put gold on their Instagram notes that week that it was a thing.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I put threats on my Instagram notes. Alright, number 9 spot. Mine is Kendrick Lamar's GNX. So I feel like Kendrick did more this year for just the West Coast. You know, we're Pacific Islanders, so we love the West Coast. I just feel like GNX has a perfect balance of just the most fun, like, what'd you do?
Mustard.
Mustard! Crash out. He crashes out on TV.
Mustard! I just feel like it has a great balance of, like, super fun, whatever, I don't even care about anything songs, and also really emotional and, like, sentimental personal songs like Gloria and Heart Part 6. And it also, I feel like, has its classic Kendrick, like, conceptual stuff with Reincarnated for those who enjoy that type of stuff. My favorite songs from this album are just the more fun songs, like Squabble Up, Hey Now, all those. Like, I think Kendrick just does it so well because, like, it comes naturally to him, but at the same time, he's, like, obviously a really, really good rapper. So when a really, like, technically talented rapper does more, like, does music that has less substance and is more about just fun stuff, I think it just comes out really well, and I just think he executed this album very well.
My number 8, if you couldn't tell by that little bit, is Smile by Porter Robinson.
It's not fair.
So Porter Robinson has been kind of a interesting fella in the music industry due to Nurture being one of like the sweetest sounding albums ever. And I was really excited for Smile due to how joyous it looked. with the name having an exclamation mark and like an emoticon.
It's called an emoticon, not an emoji.
I said emoticon, dumbass. And then the album cover being so cute and everything. But the main thing that got me like super excited for this was when Cheerleader came out as the lead single. I listened to that and I like didn't stop smiling throughout the entire thing, and then I listened to it like 8 more times in the remainder of the day. It's such a good song, and it's crazy how he mashes happy songs with happy beats about happy things, like Cheerleader about being in love with this girl and stuff, with like sad songs still with happy beats. Like Russian Roulette is like a really depressing song if you look at the lyrics, but you can't be sad listening to it because it's so uplifting with the beat. So I just love how he did the production, and I love how it makes me feel. It just makes me happy every single time I listen to a song off of this album. The fuck is wrong with you fuckers?
What?
Listen.
Why are you laughing?
Listen to.
Wait, is Cheerleader the one that's like, I think myself a cheerleader?
No! My favorite song on the album is Perfect Pinterest Garden. That's my favorite. That's kind of a hot take. But I love the little like, let's go. Doom, 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 doom. Let's go to Sasha's pick.
So, my number 8 pick. This is actually the album I listened to the least out of all of them, which is I like regret doing, and I'm gonna listen to it a whole lot more now in this year of 2025, because I feel like I didn't get enough of it last year. And that album, call me a nerd if you want. It's I Lay Down My Life for You by JpegMafia.
With an advantage. This is my fight. I just woke up as a child of the light.
Dude, you're a nerd for having that on your list.
Nerd.
Okay, so basically, here's why I like it a whole lot. Last year, there was a little album called Scaring the Huzz, and that also was JpegMafia. And this other guy who doesn't really matter. And that was really good. And that like put me on that style of rap a little bit. That like weird electronic like nerd style of rap. And then this album is like also really good. The sound of it makes me really happy when I listen to it. And it makes me really good at like certain things like math and science. My favorite song off of this album is JPEG Ultra, because I really like the feature on it. It's really like well done, and it also makes me feel really like energetic and happy. And he actually performed live, and I really wish I went to that, and I didn't.
I just noticed I haven't been saying my favorite songs. So my favorite song on Vultures 1, can't decide, they're all too good.
Probably Carnival.
I think Bomb.
No, that's not on the album.
No, it's Carnival.
No, that's not my favorite. I think my favorite actually, it's a tie between Back to Me and Fuck Some.
Yeah.
And GNX, my favorite song is, I think my favorite is Gloria, or yeah, I think my favorite song is Gloria.
Can I go get water?
No.
Oh.
Alright, my number 8 is Psychos by Blade and Young Lean. This is a collab album between Blade and Young Lean. So I listened to this a while after it came out, actually. This is the only one on here I think that I listened to far after it came out. All these other ones like I listened to right away, or like within the month or within the week or something. This one's cool to me because I think Blade and Young Lean are two of the most interesting figures in just music in general right now. It's so cool how they do like all these versatile things. Like Blade dropped 2 albums this year. One was this one, which is like emo, alt-rock inspired kinda. And then he dropped his Rage album, which was also kind of emo inspired at the same time. And there's some type of style that Young Lean and Blade just have about them. And for them to do a collab album just feels like it just feels like a moment, but it also kind of went strangely unnoticed, I feel like, this year. But I think it's a really great album. It has maybe their best, like, Young Lean and Blade in both of their catalogs, the best writing on any of their projects. My favorite song on here is Ghosts. Like, it's a really good album. You can get in your feels with the album. You can get in touch with your soul, and you can get in touch with your mind. And it really takes me to some, like, weird spot in Sweden, and I feel like I'm sipping drink with Young Lean and Blade. Yeah.
I can't put down the cup. I can't put down.
It's my turn to talk again. That's my favorite turn. So, okay. My list is way more pretentious and...
Underground, yeah.
yeah, forget pretentious. My list is way more underground than these two nerds. But at number 7, I have... Let me pull up the entire title. I have no title as of 13 February 2024, 28,340 dead by Godspeed You Black Emperor. This album is fucking insane. It's so crazy. And Godspeed You Black Emperor is known for being like one of the craziest post-rock bands alongside Swans. And they have so many beloved albums, like Lift Your Skinny Fist Like Antennas to Heaven. That one's super good. And I've listened to almost all their catalog, and they've become one of my favorite bands of all time. And when I heard that they were coming out with a new record, I like lost my mind because I didn't know how to feel. I was so excited, but I was worried because 3 years back they released an album called Godspeed at World's End it was very good, but it was weird and not like their other stuff. But this is fantastic. And the message it tells too about Palestinians and everything going on right now is so beautiful, and it's so impressive that they can tell such a phenomenal story without any lyrics in the song at all. None of the songs have any lyrics, if I can remember correctly. And it's just really, really beautiful. My favorite song is Babies in a Thundercloud. The song is really, really good.
My 7th favorite album
Chief Keef.
of 2024, not to be confused with my second favorite, is Hit Me Hard and Soft by Millie Bobby. By Billie Eilish. It's by Billie Eilish, guys.
I could eat that girl for lunch. Yeah, she thinks
I'll do soft first.
Wait, don't do hard. Yeah, it's Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. I like this album a lot because it's like kind of what chill pop should aspire to be. It's insanely good production. Really good is like an understatement. The production on it is incredible. And also it has such this nice like aesthetic to it. My highlights from it are Chihiro, Lunch, and the Diner.
Alright, this is the first repeat album, I think, but I have a lot to say about it. Actually, no, I don't. So my number 7 is Scrapyard.
Take it all down, take me all apart.
So my number 7 is Scrapyard by Quadeca, and I think... So this is an interesting album because it's not an album, it's actually a mixtape, and it's also essentially not even there's no like really concept about it. It's scraps. It's a collection of scraps that don't fit in the next Quadeca era, and that also don't fit in the last Quadeca era. Songs like Dust Cutter were throwaways from I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, and songs like other ones are throwaways from the next album, maybe. I really think that even though this album is very obviously incohesive because it's not really an album, it's a collection, it still manages to create like an experience. And, you know, the sequencing, while it may not be perfect, it really does have an emotional build and then like an ending and stuff. And I think that Quadeka creates some like amazing, unique sounds on here. I listened to this so much during the fall months and days and weeks and shit. And I think the contrast of like some of the songs like Guess Who, like that's fully a Rage song with the distorted like synth and stuff, but it's very unique. It doesn't just sound like all the generic Rage stuff that's out right now, but it's also like that digital bit crushed sound. And then you get Guide Dog, which is like insanely unprocessed and raw. And I just think like musically, it's really great. And I love some of the different unique song ideas. And my favorite song is A La Carte, Guide Dog, or Easier. I can't pick.
I'm back, and I'm better than ever with more fucking annoying person takes. Number 6.
This one's not that annoying.
Songs of a Lost World by The Cure. This album is really good, and it's super surprising because not many bands come back after like a 25-year hiatus or something and make an album, first of all, that's good. Most of the time they're just bad. And second of all, an album that is this good. A lot of it is like shoegaze, which is like crazy because I just don't expect that from like a fucking dad rock band. I really love this album. I think it's really beautifully made with all these phenomenal guitars and distortions. Everything just sounds really good. My favorite song is End Song or Alone. I can't decide between them. It's funny, it's the first song and the last song on the album, but they're both so good. I listened to this album when I had a headache and it went away, so it's pretty cool.
My number 6 pick in the draft of 2024 albums is Loss of Life by MGMT. I'm kind of realizing just now that so many of these albums I like for their aesthetic, because I love aesthetic a whole lot. And this is like definitely probably one of my favorite aesthetics of albums on here. MGMT is like really consistent with just making very listenable, very well produced. They're like, Loss of Life is very similar in my mind to Tame Impala a little bit. It's like this same vibe and same aesthetic. Like you listen to Loss of Life at nighttime on like a bus and you go and you start like floating up into the sky and it's super awesome. I love it. It's not super different from everything else they've done. It's the same dealio that MGMT's always doing, but MGMT's always doing a great dealio and a great good dealio. Yeah, very awesome album. I actually think this album is going to become like more popular later on because I feel like it went a little under the radar. My favorite song from this album is Nothing Changes.
Bubblegum Dog.
Bubblegum
Mother
Dog was good.
Nature.
Mother Nature is a very close second, I will say. But that was my favorite. That was my second favorite. That was my favorite album, or my 6th favorite album. And next, off to you.
All right. So my number 6.
Yeah.
God damn it! I'm gonna have all repeats now.
You're fucking cornball.
So
Repeats.
my number 6 is Porter Robinson. Smile.
I'm trying not to say, let's go out.
So this album, I think, has a very bright sound. That's my original thought, and it's very joyous. What'd you say?
I said it made me happy.
This one made me happy when I listened to it. I first heard the song Cheerleader, and I was smiling through the whole thing, and I listened to it 8 times when I first heard it. Nurture is one of the best, Porter Robinson's a really interesting guy because
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Nurture.
I said he's one of the most interesting music.
I'm not copying you, so why would I say exactly what you say? What? Because Nurture is one of the sweetest sounding albums ever made. Okay, here's my actual take about it. I think this album touches on subjects of mental health in a really like stylish way. You know, it's not like weird or corny at all. It's like actually it's just in the music and it gets the point across, but like it's so fun to listen to. And it has such a strong aesthetic going for it, and it's really joyous. And I listened to Cheerleader like 8 times when I first heard it.
Did you actually?
I first heard it 8 times for the first time.
I first heard it 8 times in tutoring and also in math class and also in band, and
Undisclosed location.
I cried at the first song, Dust Cutter.
Yeah, and I
That's
you
what
know,
I did.
I guess these are pretty pretentious takes, I guess, but like,
Oh my.
you know, and I just bombed the classroom and I wanted to listen to this. My favorite song from this is Russian Roulette because I think it's the opus of the album. I think it's the longest song, and it has the chorus, it has the synths, it has like the perfect synth lead. Synth leads are the best part of this album in my opinion. Like the melodies, like the
Me and Marcus had the same number 5.
Okay, yeah, yes, this
With
is true.
Imaginal Disc.
By Magdalena Bay. I think this album is just simply really good in like a simple manner, you know? There's not really any reason to dislike this, but there's so many reasons to like it. And also, it just has like this psychedelic, crazy dreamscape, soundscape that works really well, complements all the imagery, and also it's just a crazy experience to listen to for any person, I think.
So there's something about this album that's like a dreamscapey, dreamy, like
Like an imagination.
like it's it's off a disc that is not even imaginal. Magdalena Bay, you don't need to know anything about them to really have a phenomenal time with this album. It's so beautiful and really well made, and I love how it sounds. I've never really heard anything like it.
My favorite song from
yeah,
it
Image.
is Tunnel Vision.
Image.
And my 5th favorite album of 2024. It's Gen X.
Hey now, say now. Hey now, say now.
Kendrick is like really good, and it's like crazy.
Bro allergic to making bad music.
Pretty much, yeah. Bro won the beef and said, it's not enough. Bro, this song literally dropped at like 10. And
That's when
I went to
Undisclosed Location.
and it's crazy because since everyone was in school, no one like knew it came out, and we were
Undisclosed Location.
and we knew it came out. And I got back to class, and the people at my table were like, "Where were you? Why were you gone?" And I was like, "New Kendrick album," and it was like crazy. Everyone like freaked out. That was my GNX story. Here's what I actually think about the album. It's not Kendrick's best at all, and it's not too groundbreaking. Like Kendrick has made insano groundbreaking albums that have like changed the rap game. This isn't one of them, but that doesn't mean it's not good. It has the Kendrick magic, which is just like awesomeness, and it's like, I don't know, it's like addicting to listen to, and it's so catchy and like amazing. I really like when he goes mustard and crashes out. My favorite tracks off of this album are like TV Off, Luther. My number one favorite was Hey Now, Say Now, Get the Fuck About My Way. Although I didn't really love Peekaboo, that like annoyed me a little bit. Now moving on to number 4.
Number 4 time.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, bro.
What are you eating? Oh, wait, are you eating mustard?
Nah, I'm eating Diddy. Number 4 is a bad album because it's for girls. I'm just kidding. I love Brat.
This one's for all my minions.
Brat is by Charlie XCX, and it is such a good album. It's so fucking good. There's like not a single song that I will listen to and not have like the time of my life while listening to it. It's so much fun. I love it so much. My favorite song is Mean Girls, and that's kind of a hot take because I don't know why people just don't really like it as much as the other ones.
Can you even have a hot take about the best song on here?
Yeah, it's true. They're all so good. I mean, like every single song is so good. You put on any song at like a club, people are gonna go off to it. But I don't think it's her best project, as many do say it is. I think that How I'm Feeling Now is so, like, groundbreaking.
I like Boom Clap.
Boom. That's a song. It's not an album.
I know, but I like it.
Boom. Got the sound of number 4. It's time for Sasha's turn. Turn, 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 turn.
Boom Clap. My number 4 is Samurai.
Lord, please bless my castle of sand, waiting on the battles.
Samurai, where do I even begin? This album, like, makes me feel like I'm a samurai. Like, it makes me feel like I'm a samurai. Like, if samurais had streaming services and music and all that, and they listened to rap and they were lit like that, they would listen to this album, not just because it's named after them, but also because it's like that aura of samurai-ness. It has the same kind of feel as like some older jizza stuff, like Liquid Swords, and I really like that album a whole lot. And I also really like this album a whole lot. And they're different, but it's like the same vibe. And also, the rapping performance on this album is so good. Like, this is definitely the best rap performance of 2024, in my opinion. UNO favorite song on this album is Places. I love that song. That song is freaking amazing. It makes me like so happy. And also, I think that this album is like a perfect example of like a Topic album. Like, the Topic is samurai and it executes the idea quite literally perfectly.
My number 4 spot is Jordy Greep with The New Sound. So this album, this is my first introduction to any of this stuff, and it sort of feels like I walked in on something. But like, this album's very enjoyable from like an immersion perspective. Like, I don't do playlists, but like, I wouldn't put songs from this on my playlist, I think. But as an entire album, it is like maybe the most complete and like full album experience that came out this year. It's not my favorite, it's my 4th favorite, but you really get from start to finish, like, you're in this world and it has so many unique and like musically complex ideas, sonic ideas, and I think that this album tells a story and brings you into a universe. It's just so well, and this is the one album this year that's like really feels so ambitious that it's like crazy.
Okay, number 3. Top 3. Okay, are you guys ready for this? This one is called 13-inch Frank Beltrame Italian Stiletto with Bison Horn Grips by Zuzu. Now, Zuzu is a band that I have had my eye on for a little bit, but I had never listened to an album by them before this one because it was really intimidating in a weird way. They have like 50 albums. They have so many albums, and most of them are just bullshit that they just wanted to mess around with. There's an album called Cling Clang that's only like 15 minutes long, and it's all made with vibrators as music. It's just like vibrators clacking together, and it's like, but they're weirdos, right? So I was so scared to listen to this, and this was so well made, and the instrumentals on their own were just phenomenal. It was insane to be able to sit down and listen to something like this. This was like the first time I ever heard Ants From Up There by Black Country New Road. Like, sitting down and listening to that was one of the craziest experiences I had ever had. And listening to this album was just, I just couldn't really fathom what was blessing my ears. My favorite song is Common Loon. I love that song so much. Yeah.
Fantastic album.
My number three favorite album is Imaginal Disc. Epilepsy warning.
There will be flashing lights, scary noises, and more flashing lights.
And this has already been talked about twice at the same time, but I'm going to talk about it some more. And I'm not going to talk too much about the album. Like, the album's good enough. Freaking love it. But, oh my goodness. Image, like, that's my song of the year. That song, like, I listen to it with both earbuds in, and my brain, like, tingles in, like, the perfect way. and I like don't understand like why, and I just like let it happen, and it's like amazing. And it's like I get like I don't even know. I get like transported into a whole nother world, and it's like the only thing that matters is like what's playing in my ears, and it's completely amazing, and I love it so much. And also the album itself is so good and consistent, and I feel like it's kind of hard to top. Like that's the 4th song on the album, and then it like doesn't get that good again because that's like the best song of the year. But also if it was named Image, and it was all Image, I'd be very happy.
Immortal disc. So my number 3 favorite is Chromacopia. So this album was not a surprise, but it was like a semi-surprise album. Like
Semi-truck.
He was literally saying no music this year, and then he announced an album, and then it dropped.
He said no features.
Like a few weeks later. Yeah, he said no features as well. This album has, I think, the most mature themes. Not like 18 plus. Whoa. But like it's like everything. It's about Tyler actually like getting older and kind of growing into like really actually a true adult, And my favorite song on the new sound is Blues, by the way. And I think that this is just as Tyler is someone who's always been kind of a wild guy, and I'm not saying he's not anymore, but like it's really interesting to see this kind of loss of color and like this black and white album that is where he's wearing a suit, and like it seems like he's getting like mature or whatever, and he's taking the light out, and he's like, oh, maybe I'll stop doing all this goofy stuff and maybe I'll be an adult. But in the end he decides obviously not to dim his light, as the album would say. And I think aesthetically the album is really a lot like kind of what it maybe would be like if he did dim his light. And I think that the song concepts on here are incredible. So I think Tyler's definitely mastered like instruments. Whether or not he plays all these instruments that are featured on this album, like you really get the trumpet, you get the guitar, you get the synths, you get all this drums, everything. And it is so much fun as an album to listen to, and it is so is deep. It's really deep, like really deep. And that is my 3rd favorite album.
Favorite song.
And my favorite song is Tomorrow.
Damn it. Number 2. JpegMafia. JpegMafia. It's JpegMafia. I laid down my life for you. JpegMafia. So Sasha touched on how JpegMafia came to our location.
You're a nerd.
Sasha touched on how JpegMafia came to our location, but Sasha didn't see him. Well, I did. And I loved him. It was super cool. I was front row with no friends. I didn't have anybody with me.
I was there.
And it was one of the best shows I've ever seen, period.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
And so I just think JpegMafia, he is just so consistent with his crazy sounding instrumentals and these beautiful instrumentals also with these nice lyrics and some singing too with cool features. Like Kimbra is on one of his albums, but this album is kind of him being his like full self. I feel like this is to the point where he can be as interesting as he wants to be with nobody really holding him back. And I think that was what he was also giving off on Scaring the Hose. But in Scaring the Hose, but on that album it was kind of just crazy. Oh, this now, I'm gonna sample zillion OP standing up from his wheelchair. Oh, now I'm gonna fucking say I have a Mexican homie named Chinese Mike or something. That's on Quaranta. But it was just kind of him being crazy because he was like, fuck you, I'm big now. I'm allowed to do that. And this is him being like, I'm big now. I'm allowed to do what I want. And here's also my personal side. Like, Either On or Off the Drugs is a phenomenal track, which is talking about everything. And then you have songs like I Scream This in the Mirror Before I Interact with Anyone, Sin Miedo, and New Black History, where he's just like losing his mind. It's awesome. I love it.
My brother, my keeper, one server that he did for money feature. My mama city, she better not get greedy, she better not get greedy.
I hit the lottery. Northside.
I hit the lottery. I hit the lottery. I hit the lottery.
When I come around, better stare at the floor. Yes! It's fantastic. My favorite song is Sin Miedo. Especially after seeing it live, my favorite song is Sin Miedo. It's a good album.
Wow. My number two album of this year is really good. It's real good. It's real good, and it's Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator. Now, this album is definitely his most personal piece of art. He gets in touch with like who he is with like tracks like Him, where he's like talking about his dad and all that. But he also has his like goofy side that he cares a lot about with like Sticky, where he just kind of goes silly and that's pretty awesome too. I think this isn't like groundbreaking, but it's groundbreaking for him, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not gonna change how rap is, but it's gonna change how he is, I think.
That's a really good way to word it.
And it was also just like an insane event. Like, it was so hyped up, and it lived up to all the hype, if not more. It was a super fun and consistent rollout. I feel like green is low-key the color of this year. My favorite tracks off of this one is Chromacopia, Saint Chroma. Wait, why did I say Saint Chroma and Like Him? Like, Saint Chroma is masterful, like sound engineering and like insane. And then Like Him is incredible storytelling, and like it's a beautiful, beautiful song. Oh, and holy shit, bro, the Jared Like Him edits of Jared McCain after
Fantastic.
he tore his meniscus make me want to literally cry.
10 out of 10.
I like
Beautiful.
cried.
I cried to a Gumball Watterson edit of Like Him and Richard Watterson.
Bro, Like Him edits, don't leave them in 2024.
Yeah.
Number two. This is my number two album of the year. It is Brat by Charlie XCX. Alright, so Brat, I think this is a Fantano. This is a really good album. It has no misses. There's genuinely, every song is absolutely a hit, a great song. I think that it is just the perfect, like, it's just, everything just feels like executed right. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just, it is the perfect balance of like fun and also emotional parts, and like even the fun parts aren't just like mindless either. They are, but like that's the point of them, and that makes it good and interesting.
That makes it mindful.
Yes. And yes. Yeah, man, it's a special album. Very special album.
Yeah, facts.
I think, yeah, it's like so much fun to listen to. So much fun to listen to. So much fun to listen to.
Number one. The spot we've all been waiting for. The album of my year is the new sound by Jordy Creep.
What's left of the lover who doesn't exist?
It's the new sound by Jordy Creep. So I think this album is pretty much perfect. I've been following Jordy Creep ever since he was in Black Midi. I loved Schlegenheim and I loved Hellfire. I listened to both those albums opening night. They're like the first night they released. They have such a special place in my heart, and I will literally never forget some of those songs. And I will never forget how I felt when I heard that Black Midi broke up. It really tore me. It was super sad. But then I found out that Jordy was going to be making his own album in 2024, and I lost my mind. I was so happy. and Holy Holy came out as the lead single, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh my fucking god, Mom, you have to listen to this. And I played it for my mom. She was like, turn this off. Why do you keep talking about vaginas? Is gross.
Bruh.
But this album's so good. There's nothing wrong with it in my mind. There's genuinely nothing wrong with it. There's songs that are long and magnum opuses of the album, if you will. There's songs that are shorter and still really fun, like Bongo Season. And there's just so many fantastic elements that clash together that makes an album that is genuinely 100% unforgettable. And that is hard to say about a lot of music these days. I will never forget the tune of Holy Holy. And I'll never forget the lyrics to Blues. I'll never forget how crazy it was to hear Motorbike for the first time. I won't forget this album. And that is what makes like a benchmark in music history, in my opinion. I love it so much. It's fantastic. Favorite song is The Magician.
Okay. My number one album of the year. Not to be confused with the song by Playboi Carti on The Weeknd. It's Timeless by Kaytranada. This album is like unbelievable. It does something that I feel like no other album I've seen. There's probably other albums out there, but no other album I've seen has done it this well. And that is having so much different things going on. So much like diversity from one place to another while still being perfectly consistent and staying on track and being one solid piece of art that is like perfectly listenable to. It's like genuinely amazing. And on top of all that, everything sounds so good and it's like impossible to get bored of because of that diversity. And this is like one of those albums, it's a producer album, so he's not really performing vocals too much on it. He's more like getting people to do vocals and to rap and sing on it and perfectly like entwining all of that together, kind of like Metro Booming, except if Metro Booming did like everything. The features are all incredible, like amazingly, I don't even know, it's an unbelievable freaking album, bruh. My favorite tracks from this album are Witchy, Childish Gambino, I freaking love you, bruh.
Witchy's really good. That's the
Witchy
one
is
that I
so
forgot.
good. Weird is real good. And also Snap by Finger, featuring Pink Pantheress, is amazing. It's one of her best performances in my opinion. And yeah, this album it's long, but I'm never bored throughout it. 0 skips, amazing start to finish. This is like the pinnacle of what you want a like album to be. Like this is a perfect example album for like anyone.
Number 1. This is really important. If I could just switch it up right now, you know, nothing's set in stone until it's spoken. I could just say, Vultures 2.
Neighbors know this shit get out of hand.
But it's not Vultures 2. It's JPEG Mafia, I Lay Down My Life For You.
I'm Michael Jackson dancing in the mirror. The only one who can see me is me.
So this album was highly anticipated all year. I got into JPEG a little late, I think, but not like I'm not a new gen anymore. I think I've been listening to him for a while now. So I think this is a mix of everything I've kind of been saying about the past few albums on my list, but like combined into one. Like it is absolutely a full experience, cohesive, world building, immersive. It is fun. Every song is separate in like this special, amazing, unique way. And JPEG Mafia always comes through with like the highest quality of instrumentals that aren't so experimental and ridiculous that they're like hard to listen to. Like this, I think a lot of people who maybe would not be able to get into any of JPEG's earlier stuff will be able to get into his music now because of this album. But it's also like, it is relatively experimental, and there's not really anything else that sounds like this album out, you know? It obviously has its rap rock influences and such things like that, but like, it's really, really special the way it blends these R&B, like auto-tune melodies, the soul samples on some of the songs, such as Either On or Off the Drugs, which is kind of a soul it feels weird saying soul when it's AI, you know what I mean? It's like, AI doesn't have a soul, what the heck? And I think that he really does a good job of encapsulating his mind state as he's making these songs, and just directly when he's angry, he'll write about it and put mind to pen to paper. Y'all hanging out with PDFs and rapers, no drizzy. I like when he says that because he's a JPEG and he's dissing the PDFs.
You got the swag as from Chatterbait.
You want to aggravate, stick talk, let the chopper elaborate. Also, we saw this live. Me and this guy saw it live.
And one other person.
Two other people.
Persons.
They will not be named because we don't like them anymore. It's just a very special album. Like, this album feels like me. I was kind of struggling to find, because I really want my album of the year to be my album of the year. You know what I mean? And I'm sure obviously this is going to be many other people's album of the year because it is really, really good. But like, I just really connect with this album heavy.
Now time for
mention.
Rapid Fire honorable mention.
Yep.
I'll freaking start. Okay, my first honorable mention, Ka, The Thief Next to Jesus. Nice little jazz rap project. Rest in peace, Ka. My second honorable mention, Sam LRC, a fellow album of the year reviewer. This one's called A Lonely Sinner. Beautiful post-rock album. My third and final honorable mention is not an album, however, it is a song by the rapper Joey. This one is called My Name is Earl, one of the most beautiful cloud rap songs of the year, easily. I don't even like cloud rap, but it was really good and it made me cry.
My honorable mentions, I only have one. It's not really an album, it's more of a deluxe. It was really good, real awesome aesthetic. It's by SZA, it's Lana, the deluxe version of SOS, and it delivered a bunch new more songs. I like them all a whole lot. Chat.
All right, my honorable mentions. I have quite a lot actually. I have Denzel Curry. What's the King of the Mischievous South, Volume 2. This is just a great Southern hip hop, like Memphis tribute album that is really fun to listen to. I also have Saheem by Saw Baby. This is one of the best Atlanta trap albums I think to come out in a while. It feels very classic and classy, and he has some great flows and fun lyrics on there. I also got Che's album, Say So Says. Che is an underground rapper who makes rage music, and I feel like this is one of the most interesting rage albums ever made. I think this album's a lot of fun. I like to listen to it while doing homework. And my final one is the Knocked Loose album, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To. I think as a non-metal listener, this album was really enjoyable for me, and as I said, I'm not a metal guy, so I don't really know like what to say too much about it, but it's really good to listen to. I liked it a lot.
That's what's up. That's our top 10 albums of not this year, because this is gonna be
2025. It is 2025.
Yeah, this is our old shite list.
This is last year's albums. Last year in the garbage. We're leaving it in 2024.
Our favorite vintage albums, our favorite old head unk albums.
Older brother core albums.
We'll see you for 2025. Make sure to like the video.
What's he gonna say?
Make sure to subscribe. And goodbye!
Awesome.